for me, it's if you're going to be a singer-songwriter, um, there comes a point, if you're going to be someone who really wants to do whatever it is that their dreams are, whatever, hell or high, that you have a conversation in your head that hell or high water, this is what I'm going to do. So even if Nashville's listening or not, it doesn't fucking matter because I'm still going to hit that road and play those 150, 200 shows a year because
really
you chose at one point, like this, it doesn't matter.
Well, you can choose to do what your heart tells you to do, or you can go against it and do what the record labels tell you to do. And you know, I'm happier to do a festival like this where I know there's an audience full of people that are like-minded, you know, and they can appreciate as close to the real thing as I can present to them. They appreciate that, you know.
What do you think about the fact that you found this great success in the bluegrass circles?
Well, I was raised on bluegrass, and
where are you from?
I'm from Arkansas.
Okay.
And my granddaddy's favorite singer was Bill Monroe, you know, and so I was raised listening to all kinds of bluegrass and old country stuff, you know. My dad played and sang, you know, country songs, and my mama sang harmonies with him and around the house. And I grew up going to people's houses and having little picking parties, and anybody that could play would come out, and we'd have a good time and play old fiddle tunes and you know, just I learned to play under a shade tree at bluegrass festivals.
Well, it's one of those things too where you could arguably say that one of the last vestiges of real country music is bluegrass these days.
Well, it is one of the most pure, you know, traditional American forms,
and it's straight up bluegrass. But man, at the same time, there is such a element of just that real deal country in it too.
Well, it's country music. It's country folks. It's music for country folks, and that's all Flat and Scruggs music, you know. But I love that band, and I love being in the middle of it. It's a great feeling.
What have you learned from Jerry, personally, professionally, about the life that you've pursued as a musician?
Wow, that's a pretty good question. Well,
I mean, because he's seen everything, literally.
I don't know. He's just a great friend and a good guy. He called me up and asked me if I wanted to be a part of that Flat and Scruggs band. You know, if I wanted to play the part of Lester Flatt, and I immediately said yeah. You know, and he I don't know. It's from the first couple of notes with that band in the first rehearsal we ever had made my hair stand up. It was that close to being like Flat and Scruggs. You know, it was more like being in the middle of the Foggy Mountain Boys than any jam session or band I'd ever been in my life up until that point.
It's gotta be kind of a full circle moment.
It is.
Considering like the older you get, you kind of start falling back into the music that you loved as a kid or were exposed to.
I love it, you know, and I want to honor it, and that's what it's all about, is to try to bring that old music back to life for the new kids that never got a chance to hear it. And it's amazing to be witness to the young people really digging that kind of music, you know. I don't want to be Lester Flatt the rest of my life, and I'm honored to be male vocalist of the year and in a band that's the entertainers of the year, and I want to do it, but it's I do stuff a little different than that traditional music, and
of course.
You know, in my own world, you know, I write songs all the time.
But it's all one thing, you know what I mean? Like, I would assume that was a door that you looked at as a way to maybe open other doors, or like even in your own creative mind. Where
it really opened a lot. It was a full circle moment, like you said. You know, to come back to the bluegrass world, I moved to Nashville in January of '87 as a fiddle player, and went to work for the Osborne Brothers on the Grand Ole Opry, playing fiddle for them. And
the quote from the title of my book is from Bobby Osborne.
Really, what is
it? The book.
Yeah.
So I asked him. I said, you know, what sets bluegrass apart from other genres? He goes, well, if you can't play, get off the damn stage.
Well, I tell you what, that's about the way it is. You know, there's a lot of great musicians in the bluegrass field, but if you can play bluegrass, you can play any of that country music stuff you hear on the radio with your eyes closed and with one hand. So I'm just saying, you know.
Well, my last question, so you can go get some dinner real quick, is what did Guy Clark teach you that has stuck with you the most since he's passed? As a musician and also just daily life.
I think to write the truth in a song and to be real. He was more real than any artist or that I ever met.
Some people might even say to a fault he was so real.
I've seen him. We played. Verlin Thompson and I played with him at Merle Fest several years ago, and he was sick with chemo he'd been taking, and he's up there in front of all of that, his crowd, just hanging on to every word, and he's coughing and snot running out of his nose, and he's blowing his nose right up there in front of these people, and just in a terrible state. But that was his show. I mean, he was he didn't feel good, but he wasn't going to put on a show.
Yeah.
He was as real right there as he was at his own home, and he was just honest with his audience, and his songs were totally honest.
Well, what does that say to you moving forward? I mean, you right now are on a very interesting platform where you can play in a lot of different circles.
I enjoy playing in different fields of music, and like I say, I've always soaked up what I feel like's the best part of whatever genre of music I could seek out. I would try to find the source of it, and the historical truth of that music, and so I think that's what's enabled me to, I could fall in with a lot of different types of music pretty easily, and I'm not the greatest musician in the world. I have my limitations, but I feel like my limitations are what make me who I am, just like everybody, so I'm going to figure out a way to make it to the end of the song, some way or another with whatever music I'm